Camera rolling, says record.
You can't see that in my pocket now?
No.
All right. Hit me.
Okay, so how did the documentary begin? Well, about 18 months ago, I actually put out a vlog which was aimed at giving dancers business skills, branding skills, and just giving some information to help them get a leg up in this career.
Me and Brendon have been working together for probably about 2 years at this point. We'd met a couple of years earlier on some dance projects.
So I came up with this idea of a friend of mine called Tash T, who's also on Instagram, so make sure you go and follow her, to pick one dancer and put the whole formula on her, give her new styling, photos, videos, websites, teach her how to use it, teach her how to network with companies, and put it out there for the world to see, to show that this process works, get more people to my YouTube.
And then he got in touch with me again, and we started doing some film projects, and I was working with kind of a company that he'd set up. And we just stayed in touch doing these kind of little film projects over the years.
And what it made me realize is there was so much demand for this in the industry. So from the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments we got, I put it down to around 35 people who I had in for an audition.
He just asked if I would come along and do some kind of behind the scenes stuff for the vlog during the audition. So, you know, that was fine. I turned up, and we filmed the audition, and we filmed some interviews afterwards, kind of this ad hoc 3-camera setup with various little mini tripods all on skew-if angles.
And we auditioned them, at which point I invited cameraman James Williams over, who's not a cameraman, he's a cinematographer, and he'd hate me for saying cameraman. I had him down, and we had a conversation after filming the audition and realised that actually...
We got talking about what his idea really was, and him and another girl, Tash, had kind of come up with this kind of little vlog idea. And I remember really clearly actually saying to him, you know, I think this is bigger than what you're setting it out to be. I think we should make this a feature. I think it's got value within the dance community, and I think we should go bigger.
This could be a really, really, really good documentary, and it's a lot bigger than we thought it was because there was so much behind it.
And I kind of offered my my assistance as a cameraman and an editor.
So in short, it started from a completely different idea and developed into a documentary somewhere along the way.
And it kind of just grew from there and kind of spiraled out of control, and we were playing catch up for the next 12 months or so.
It was hugely important that we picked a dancer that could already dance, because the process wasn't about that, you know. It was all about the branding, new photos, new videos, new website, teaching them how to network so that they can act like a business. Now, if you think about it in terms of a different type of business, if they sold a product that was faulty to begin with, yeah, they might get a few sales through branding and so on, but they won't have a long life as a business. They would quickly fold because people would realize the product isn't great. The same is for dancing. If the dance is not great, yes, we could get them into a few jobs using branding skills and using their networking skills, but eventually they get found out that they're not the best dancer in the world. So this process would only work if they already had the talent, or if you were relating to a business, if they already had a great product.
The biggest obstacle for this documentary, from my point of view, was probably the biggest obstacle for any documentary, sound. You know, we were doing everything ourselves, and I was basically a cameraman for the bits that I needed to be, and the rest of the time it was shot as a vlog. It was shot first person on a handheld mirrorless camera that I had nothing to do with. So really the biggest challenge was keeping any kind of control over sound, which is, you know, more than half of the experience of watching a documentary, is kind of hearing that information. So that was definitely the challenging thing. When we hit the edit, we were really battling the sound the whole time. The kind of vlog style of filming was something that I hadn't done before. I'm not a vlogger, and obviously being a cameraman, I'm not used to filming in that way, in kind of this completely uncontrolled ad hoc way. So there was really no precedent for me to set up a system like that, and I think if we were going to do something again, that's the thing that I would focus most on is, okay, how do we create a setup that can be run and gun like this, that can be, you know, first person shooter, and we can still get some kind of clarity in the audio, because for me that was the most challenging part of the edit.
What we were looking for someone, again, that had the dance ability, but was pretty clueless about what was next. You know, we spoke to some people that, again, were in a very similar position of, I'm really trying to get work and it's not quite happening for me, but some were a lot further along the branding process than others, whereas when we found Yatta, to me it was clear she was ready to give up. Yeah, she was ready to kind of go, I'm done with this. I moved all the way to England for this career and nothing's happening. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm doing everything I've been told to do. But the problem is no one had told her this way of doing things. No one had informed her that there's all these other things you need to do to be seen as a business and to be seen as a professional. So when I first met Yatta and really got to speak to her, it was at the audition afterwards. And you'll see in the film, if you haven't already watched it, that she was clearly desperate, she was clearly broken, and when I say broken, I mean broken down, like the industry had beat her to a point where her confidence was at an all-time low. And from the very, very first step of her working with Marion Ruzi and styling, I could see it already starting to grow. She met her, she was nervous and she knew she had to make some changes, but I think that decision of actually making a change helped her with her confidence. And within a couple of days of that, she's wearing new clothes, she's wearing colours, she's wearing brighter things, she's styling her hair differently. So she got to walk around with a different perspective on life. Following that, we had some amazing pictures taken by Nick Pate. And again, confidence rose because she realized how good she could look on camera. And then we did an incredible show reel with James Williams again. And again, the confidence rose because she's like, wait a minute, I look really good. And I actually look good. You know, she was able to actually look at herself for once and go, I look good. And I think the pinnacle moment for her was once the website was live, she saw it all come together and she was like, oh my God, I'm a business, I'm a package, I'm something that can be delivered to clients now. And then obviously from there, we taught her how to reach out, we taught her how to build her social media, and she started to see more engagement, she started to see more reaction. So the process itself increased her confidence. But now, she's like a whole different person. She's the one that talks back to me, she's the one that takes the mickey out of me now, it's not the other way around. So yeah, her confidence has literally gone from here to here, and I mean in the space of like 6 weeks. It's crazy.
Good question. Coming from a freelancer's perspective as a cinematographer, there are definitely overlaps in the information that Brendon's trying to portray through this documentary. The main thing being that, you know, of course you have to present yourself as a self-contained business, and you know, only a very small percentage of the skill that you need is in the actual physical skill of the job. You know, there's a huge percentage of who I have to be as a cinematographer that is all business, is admin, is contacting people, is doing, you know, communicating with clients or directors or, you know, producers. So yeah, there's obviously a massive overlap in that sense, and I think having those skills implemented into the kind of conventional training system for anyone who's going into a freelance business is paramount in this day and age. I think it's something that's more and more common. More and more people are being their own business. More and more people are being freelance in multiple genres or creating genres that haven't previously existed. But what we haven't done is kind of taught the business side of that ecosystem. So I think we're playing catch up a little bit on that, and I think something like this documentary has only taken us in the right direction. I don't know, there was a few actually. There was a few moments that I really enjoyed, and there's a few moments that I still look back on and think like, oh, I wish we could do that again, because that was really good. Obviously, the trip out to Cyprus was fantastic for everyone. I remember saying to Brendon when we were out there, you know, this really feels like the documentary's come alive at this point, because we really got a sense of who she was and where she came from.
Being over there in a great environment and really understanding where she comes from and really understanding the support and the pressure she's got on her being a foreigner, coming over to this country, and all the family think she's amazing and think she's going to make it. But the reality is it is a hard industry. So
all we'd done up to then was, you know, action. It was go and do this and go and do that, and we'll come here and we'll do this photo shoot and we'll do this. And it was all action, but there was something nice about it just being this time to step back and be within her kind of environment and I kind of observe her being her and look at her on a deeper level than just you going and doing things.
For me, that was the best bit, just to get over and see the background behind the person.
But I think it's also worth mentioning the final audition as well that we see her at in the Rudai audition. That for me was a really nice moment. There was something really special about seeing her in that environment as well, and her going kind of full out. I mean, obviously, you know, I shot the show reel with her, so I'd seen her dance, and I knew she was a great dancer. But when you see someone in an environment where there's this kind of high pressure environment, and all they're doing is just 100% all the time, and they're completely focused, you see them in a different way. And I think that was definitely a highlight for me to see her in that environment. And obviously she got it, which is great.